On this episode, the team heads back to Crandon International Raceway for the last two races of the year, with some additional racers getting behind the wheel. The Carlson Moto team welcomes back the one and only Travis Pastrana for a second year at Crandon, racing in the Ultimate Pro 4 class alongside Andrew.
You give me a lot of horsepower, a dirt track with jumps and all-wheel drive. I mean, how could I lose, right?
Tanner Foust, X Games medalist, drift racer, ice racer, rallycross driver, and former host of Top Gear America will be getting behind the wheel of the Pro 2.
Start my first day on Crandon and it was freaking nuts.
Last but not least, Jake Sherbrooke, one of Andrew's best friends, will be competing in the 1300 single buggy class. A lot of new drivers, World Cup races, and a year-end championship on the line for Andrew.
Well, you rarely see that. Look at the carnage we have.
This is Inside Off-Road.
Yeah, this year we got Travis coming back. He raced the Pro 2 last year at Crandon. It went really good. He had a fun year, and obviously knowing he wanted to get into Pro 4 was something we got done with Red Bull in Yokohama.
And having a chance to drive last year was amazing, but I've never had an opportunity to drive a Pro 4. I think all of my background, everything's been aggressive. It's been, with all-wheel drive, going from rally and everything that I do. I feel like when in doubt, throttle out has been my motto since I was 4 years old, and that you can do with the Pro 4. So it's, definitely faster drivers at the top, but it gets to race actually against Andrew and have some fun out there.
I knew it was going to be super cool. I knew he'd be fast, and it even made me nervous that I gotta make sure I beat this guy, because this is supposed to be my job. And he comes in and, obviously he's Travis Pastrana, so he's gonna be good at it. But I wanted to beat him, so in a fun, healthy way.
I mean, one of the great things that I'm learning, I'm a new part of Team Yokohama, is that when we signed our deal and we had a calendar of events, there was already things that I was going to be doing with Volkswagen and other companies and bringing Yokohama involved in that. They're like, well, what's something that's on your wish list that you just never checked the box? And the first thing that came to mind was literally Crandon. And it's always something that's out there because it's just such a high-speed track. It just looks epic. It's got such a long history. And I mean, I don't even think I finished saying the sentence, and the marketing director at Yokohama was like, done.
I felt really good with Tanner coming in because of his confidence level. He seemed like he was comfortable being uncomfortable in the truck, and I knew he wasn't going to go out first lap and try to set the world on fire and set down some record-breaking lap time. But at the same time, I knew he wasn't going to go out and just lay down and putt around.
I guess when I look at the weekend moving ahead, I mean, a win for me is really finishing it. It's hard to describe, I think, to people, even people that watch this all the time, what a gladiator status it is to be on that track with all those guys. I mean, the skills and the commitment are extreme. The conditions are so insane, wiping tear-offs in the air and turning in the air, and not too much so you don't blow the tires off, but just enough so it turns you into the next corner. And it's full gladiator style.
To see what types of questions they ask, it made me feel good too, because I knew the types of guys that were going to be getting in these trucks, and I knew they were asking the right questions and curious about the right things. So
you give me a lot of horsepower, a dirt track with jumps and all-wheel drive. I mean, how could I lose, right?
My buddy Jake Bangin, he got a surprise a couple days before the race. We surprised him with the buggy for 1600 single buggy class.
You're racing.
You're joking.
You're racing.
You're joking.
You're racing.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like there's not many opportunities to do something like that for one of your buddies in life, and he really appreciates it too. It's cool to see him light up. He's pretty excitable. So, but yeah, I mean, we had a full stable, 5 cars, including Bangin. It's a lot, but I'm sure some of the guys were thinking you're nuts for putting us through this. But at the end of the day, it's really good for our team, and it makes a big splash when we show up to Crandon.
As Andrew and the team went out for practice and qualifying, they found themselves encountering a few issues.
We had a blown axle in Andrew's truck and wasn't ideal, but we got it fixed in a hurry and ready for qualifying. And then Travis's truck, we didn't have as much four-wheel drive as he'd like, so we got that fixed for him, and it really turned out good in qualifying because both of them drive their butts off.
Andrew qualified 3rd in Pro Mod and 7th in Pro 4.
We came out good on the Pro Mod. We had a good starting spot, and in the Pro 4, we missed the boat. We should have been faster. I should have gave the guys in front of me more room, and I made an assumption that was incorrect. So Travis and Tanner both qualified 12th. Tanner, that's right in the middle of the pack, you know, with 25, 24 guys in that class. Not bad at all. Travis did pretty good too. He knew he had some issues with four-wheel drive, so he put in as fast a lap as he could and kept the truck on all fours. And second row inside is not a bad spot to be.
So Crandon's kind of a unique setup because we actually get here and practice and qualify on Thursday as opposed to Friday like normal race weekends. What happens on Friday then is actually called the Crandon Parade. Everybody takes their race vehicles, they line up at 8 in the morning, and everybody drives to Crandon. They line up on the street, they shut down downtown Crandon, and everybody just hangs out on the street and has a good time until about 1 o'clock. And then we all get in our race vehicles and one by one drive back down through downtown and have this huge parade of race vehicles and horsepower. And it's really cool to see the town come together and see the racers come together for one last hurrah of this season.
We had all 4 of our race rigs down in town, and it was cool. It's awesome, especially with Dallas and Joel, to have my kids down there and get to walk down through the street with them and showing them race cars, and they love it. They had pretty fun, and Dallas actually got to come be in the parade with me and Travis and Tanner and Mia Chapman, another Yokohama driver. We're all on top of the Yokohama rig throwing out candy, and it was cool to get to see Dallas do that. He'd never been in a parade before, so to get to do it at Crandon with his dad and Travis and Tanner and stuff was pretty cool. Yeah, Friday was just a lot of family and just trying to take in the moments, and yeah, it was pretty special for me. And we had the new Red Bull wrap. So to get to unveil that at the parade and have all the fans down there taking photos with it, and the truck looked pretty sharp. So it was cool to get it all shined up and bring it out to the parade was awesome.
After the parade, Andrew heads back to the track to spot for Jake's race in the 1300 single buggy.
So I started the weekend out thinking I was going to spot for Jake. I quickly found out that that's not for me. It was hard. I've never driven a buggy at Crandon or really at all. You almost need a spotter that isn't wired exactly like you. You need a calming force if you're an anxious guy, or if you're too calm, you need a guy that'll amp you up. A lot of that's why my dad doesn't really spot for me. We're too similar that way. He did a lot better job spotting for Jake. I helped out. I basically looked for crashes and told Jake to not hit him. But Jake did awesome.
Go, 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 go. Stay inside. Now hold your line. You're clear, you're clear. Stay inside. Stay on the gas. Stay on the gas. Go, 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 go. You're clear. Press into the left a little if you can. Go ahead.
Literally, this guy's out there in a buggy he's never raced before, and he's got like a whole professional race team like in the stands cheering for him, and he's got camera guys all over him, and like is definitely the most hyped buggy that had ever raced at Crandon. Like the first day he got a 7th, and to just see how pumped he was, and like he could have got dead last, but he had the time of his life. He came off, he forgot about tear-offs and like lifted up his visor, and just his full face was covered in mud, and just like seeing someone go through something that I'm comfortable doing and like how he adapted to it, never doing it before, was really fun. And just the second day he did even better. So it was cool to get to see him do something you don't get to see Jake doing. He's such a funny dude and has so much energy, but to see him in a serious situation like that, I mean, like the guy doesn't have a desk job. He makes funny videos for his living. So to get to see him under a pressure situation where, you know, he's got all this stuff going through his head and he's a little overwhelmed, and to see him react to that and how he did, I'm super proud of him, and he did awesome.
Basically, when we left Bark River, we came straight to Crandon, and we took what we knew and what we had and tried it. And tried, and it failed. So went back to the shop, changed a bunch of things, and tried it on our own track, ERX, and it looked to be working awesome. So we came here and went out and did absolutely amazing. It was phenomenal how awesome the car worked. It was, belt temps were down, it was hauling the mail, we were just having a blast out there with it. So we brought it back in, put a fresh belt on it, tightened some lug nuts, and filled it with fuel. Sent it back on the track, and we qualified P3, which is awesome for this track. Due to it being a land rush start, everybody starts on a line. You don't really want to be number one because being on the far right side kind of necks you into a pinch point. So being 3 is actually fairly perfect because it draws a line that's a perfect arc around turn 1. So really looking forward to Saturday. We're gonna come into Saturday just guns blazing, everything we got. It's the last round of the series. We left Bark River without the points lead, and we're gonna leave Crandon with the points lead.
Green flag is out. Pro Mod underway here and headed down into turn 1. Going off the barn jump. Rod Van Emmer and Andrew Carlson. Robert Millar, your top 3 as they head through turn number 2. Mike Carlson didn't waste any time from Elk River, Minnesota.
You know, we came out, we got the whole shot right out of the gate, and we pulled a big lead.
Like most of the entire field able to get by completely there. We'll see Carlson later on this afternoon in Pro 4, so he's definitely getting a little bit more track time than some of these drivers. Absolutely, and that'll pay off for him in Pro 4, but he's got his hands full right now here in Pro Mod side by side.
The thing was super fast, exactly how I had it in my head, and it came to life. So
Andrew Carlson in control. He's about half a straightaway out front of this battle. 1 corner to go for this battle in Pro Mod side by side. Andrew Carlson in the 15, taking the big win from Elk River, Minnesota.
I'd never had a lead that big in Pro Mod. You know, there's a lot of fast guys out there, and you know, we've been working on that car a lot, and to see a lot of that work pay off and show up as a result on the track was cool. We were definitely the guy to beat, and we put the smokes to him. So I felt a little bummed on the podium, just seeing him next to me with the trophy and getting the win, but not the championship. But like I said, at the end of the day, I wasn't gonna race dirty, and I knew he was gonna be hard to beat, and we beat him, you know, at that race, and it made it a little easier. You know, we're definitely motivated for next year. I think we have a really solid program. We fixed the inconsistencies that we had the year before. To change that and come out and be the major threat was cool. It was what we were gunning for, and I think people realize that you know, what we're bringing to the table in Pro Mod is a real deal.
Tanner Foust gets in the Pro 2 and prepares himself for the Land Rush start and the infamous Turn 1.
The Land Rush start it's going to be crazy. One, because the dust in that start, I don't think there's anything they can do about it. The bumps in the actual start grass are way bigger than you think. And so some sort of touch that happens there. And I'm kind of used to cars where you have to turn the wheel quite a bit to get like a reaction out of stuff. And the steering is so twitchy with these racks that I could see, just blinded by dust, touching other trucks, swapping it up right there. So my focus is going to be, no matter what hits you or whatever, just stay dead straight, get it on the actual race surface, and then just try to smooth it out from there.
Heading into Forest County, Potawatomi, turn number 1. Looks like your hometown favorite, Keegan Kincaid's gonna pull hole shot. Kincaid first into turn one, then it's Thomas Kleiman, winner, Mason Jr., Brooks, Tanner Foust in mid-pack as well. Look at this out front. Keegan Kincaid, he knows long way around outside of winner, but got all crossed up. He spun all the way around and collected another truck further back. Well, you rarely see that. Look at the carnage we have. That might cost Brooks the championship, Brent. We're gonna have to revisit this. There's another truck stuck on its side, but we will keep you informed as we're going to go to a full course yellow immediately. Wow, yeah, definitely. Look at damage on Brooks. My goodness. Well, here we go, Shane. It's Keegan Kincaid, Mickey Thomas, Kyle Kleiman. Let's see how this shakes out. I'm watching Corey Winter running there in fourth. He's putting pressure on Kleiman immediately. Faust, though, sticking his nose in. Faust can play spoiler here to Winter's championship hopes. Kleiman got a little bit crossed up. That's going to open the door for Winter as they head down into the gravel pit. Corey Winter in that 67 Fabtech ride now. He needs to get around Kleiman. Yeah, Winter not trying to force it, though. Tanner Faust still putting some pressure on Winter, but then Faust goes around. He's going to collect a couple more trucks. Yeah, Tanner Faust looking really, really fast, but his day looks to be done to try to finish in the top three. Now,
that was fun. That's fun. I don't know how many tear-offs I went through, but I couldn't see you. God, we gotta do that twice tomorrow?
I was a little nervous about the tear-off situation going into turn one because it's like a 100-mile-an-hour corner and 21 trucks all packed together. It goes from 10 wide to 3 wide at max. It's absolutely chaos and completely gnarly. You just kind of hold your line, and I tried to follow the fast guys basically in the front, and worked out, and I was in 4th place and cruising around, getting comfortable. It made a pass or two, and it was actually kind of tricky conditions, really slippery on one side, too much fluff to drive on the other side, so you kind of had to bank around this cushion. And at one point on a hairpin, I just was kind of at full lock, had to lift out of it, and when that happens, the steering kind of locks up and literally hit a hole on the front tire at the same time, like kind of perfect storm. Looped around, so I think I went back to 6th, got back in, right, I think I lost 1 or 2 places, but and then finished at 6th.
It was now time for Travis to compete in his first Pro 4 race and for Andrew to get his first Pro 4 win of the season.
Man, I've been waiting for this a long time. First drive in a Pro 4. I got the greatest team with Red Bull and Yokohama and Carlson Motorsports. I'm gonna go out there, we're gonna give her hell, we're gonna see where we end up.
I knew this is such a big race, and I really had nothing to lose. I was just pushing really hard, and I was probably some of the most aggressive first lap driving I'd done.
Starting line, and listen to this horsepower. Get on your feet. The green flag is flown here in Pro 4. They're heading towards Forest County, Potawatomi, turn number 1. Who's gonna have the hole shot? It'll be the 22, Johnny Greaves with the hole shot, but here comes Carlson. Right on the back bumper of Greaves, and it's Matag. Greaves, Carlson, Matag, and big trouble. Kyle LeDuc has pulled off to the side.
We ended up battling out with Doug Matag for the second spot, going back and forth around on the first 2 laps, and
now we see Matag going to work on Carlson. They make some contact into Cowboy Corner. Carlson trying to push Matag off the race line. They're still side by side. It looks like Matag is going to move up a spot here. Yeah, Doug Matag, fastest qualifier, really showing the way around here as he gets by Carlson. Wow, just flat out, 100+ miles an hour in turn number 1. Carlson fighting back on the inside of Matag as they go through turn 2. Not going to make it happen there, and then they fly down the hill, almost all the way to the flat bottom. Carlson with some new colors on board this weekend. Red Bull, Yokohama tire on board as well. Oh, he rotates, giving that spot over to Kyle Cheney. And Carlson now off the pace. Carlson's day is done. Cheney now up into the top 3.
we ended up getting a random rock come through the truck and make its way into the engine bay, and got behind a pulley and popped a belt. You know, we've been racing with that pulley system for 2 seasons now, never had an issue with it. And then when we're, you know, running second in the top race of the, you know, one of the biggest races of the year, we ended up having a failure. So it was, yeah, we were pretty gutted after that.
Second half of Pro 4 underway here at Crandon International Raceway. Miles on the way down to turn 2. Up past the skyboxes here at Crandon.
Travis spent the second half of the race battling Bryce Menzies for 7th place. Immediately after the checkered flag, Travis's truck caught on fire.
I got kicked in the pants, but I only made her 2 laps, was running 3rd, and then got to watch this guy the last half of the race. That was cool.
That was absolutely amazing. Bryce Menzies being behind us from the start, and I think he was nice to me, or maybe he was just scared to get around me, but either way, it was pretty cool. 7, man. You can't get a workout in 6, so I feel like we were right there. Caught on fire after the race, so that was good. These guys said they'd get me fixed up and be ready to rock.
He came over and said he wanted to fight you or something.
Okay, that's cool. No. He's pretty big, actually. Bryce is soft. All right.
I think you could take it.
Thanks, man.
So Saturday is the end of the points racing, but that doesn't mean it's the end of racing. We're actually going to go into Sunday, and it's what's called the Cup races. So the Red Bull Cup, the Red Bull comes in and has these Cup races where you take each individual class and have a Cup race. So we won it last year in the Pro Mod, so we're looking to come back this year and defend our title.
Sunday's the big day at Crandon. It's the Cup day. It's the day you get to walk away with the big checks if you do well, and it's the day you focus on next year if you have a bad day.
We had I don't want to say a typical day yesterday, but we experienced the high highs and the low lows. Andrew had a huge win in the UTV mod class, so that's his 5th win of the year, and it was great. He walked away, led every lap. Went out in the Pro 4, and it appeared that he was going to do the same thing. It was just flying, and we had a freak mechanical. He broke a power steering belt, so that ended his day. So that was unfortunate, but we're ready to go. We're going to get on the track here in a little bit, and we're hoping for a great day.
Basically on the first lap, guy just slams the door shut on us and pushes us into the wall. It was a pretty dirty move, and it wrecked the truck. We broke a spindle, broke an axle, bent all the steering up, made the guys have to go fix a bunch of stuff, and it sucked. We had one more race left on the weekend that we could kind of go focus on. I had the Pro Mod still. And then, yeah, the big Cup race. But it was starting to turn into a sour one.
So we're doing 2 races today at Crandon. It's the World Championships, which I don't know what that means, but it's not a points race for these guys, which means I can race a little bit harder. And then the second race, which seems like complete chaos, it's the Pro 4s and the Pro 2s together. The Pro 2s take off, the Pro 4s chase them down, and whoever wins, I mean, there's $180,000 for grabs. So it's a lot of people going really hard. It's gladiator style. It's like most racing, it's about discipline and 60, 70%, don't hurt the car. This stuff is like 110%. Every single turn you have to remember, all right, take a deep breath, go way bigger than you think you should, and then throw it and throw it and throw it. It's just insanity, but it's a ton of fun. The one thing with 4-wheel drive is you don't need the steering wheel so much. You can use the throttle to turn a little more. With 2-wheel drive, you're always using the steering wheel. And so it's almost, I think, I'm not gonna call these guys lazy, but I think you're working harder in the 2-wheel drive truck. At least I am. And once I get the technique better, maybe it'll be a little more relaxed in there. But Yesterday, I tried to get on the radio the first time after like 3 laps, and I think my tongue was stuck to the roof of my mouth. I was so cotton-mouthed, I'd been breathing so hard. It's a little embarrassing, but yeah, it's about technique. So once I kind of get back into 2-wheel drive mode, I think I'll be able to calm it down a little bit. But I know where I'm messing up, and so that's why I'm stoked for today, because I want to make up ground where I was making mistakes yesterday.
As Tanner flies into turn 2, another truck spins out and nearly takes him out. After just missing the carnage, Tanner now has made his way into 6th place. After every lap, Tanner starts to find his groove and get more comfortable with the truck. Tanner makes a solid 5th place finish in his 2nd Pro 2 race of the weekend, with 1 more to go.
You know, we really put the smokes to the Yamahas the day before. Our car was fast, we didn't change anything. We knew we had the speed to win. We went out there and we were racing against different cars than we had all year. We were running that top 3 spot. We were out front pretty early on and then just got our doors blown off us by a few guys and just on the straightaways just driving around us, which is frustrating to, you know, have a fast car the day before and drive the wheels off of it and do well. And then Sunday to see guys that, you know, pulled speed out of nowhere that, you know, it wasn't there the day before. This makes you wonder what's going on, and I like racing when it comes down to the driver, but you know, heads up racing and let the chips fall where they may. But when you get drove around a guy that's in the cushion where you should never be able to pass a guy, I knew we were racing for 2nd at that point.
Without pushing the car past its limits, Andrew was able to stay in the battle and finish 2nd.
Which 1-2 on a weekend is the only weekend better we had was at ERX when we won both days. So actually it wasn't that bad of a race weekend, and you know, I felt like we didn't get beat by a better driver in the sense of him out driving us. He's a good driver, he drove a great race, but he had a few horsepower helping him too. So that was a bummer. You know, I would have really liked to defend that title, and it's tough to kind of stomach that when you have the expectations of winning, but you also don't want to be bummed with the 2nd place. So we're obviously there to win, and you know, that's why we go to the track every weekend, is to be the top guy. So
The last race of the day, and the moment everyone has been waiting for, where the Pro 2 and the Pro 4 trucks go head-to-head, and Andrew races against both Tanner and Travis to be deemed the champion of the 2021 Red Bull Crandon World Cup Challenge.
You know, we were lined up pretty far outside. I didn't think it was the worst spot. You know, I think if we could get to the corner first, we had a good angle and we could carry some speed around like we did earlier.
For me, it was like one of the scariest I've ever been, I think, because I failed on the tear-offs. My worst nightmare this whole time I've been preaching it was my inexperience with tear-offs. I put the tear-offs on myself for the first time and I messed it up, and I just couldn't, the first lap, almost the whole first lap, I couldn't get tear-off off. And so I'm becoming completely blind. I was wiping with my hands, and long story short, the whole world went by in the first lap.
Andrew was behind me, so went wide in the corner and he jumped in front of me. I bumped my way back in right behind him, like, all right, we're going.
The track was honestly super fun. It was very tricky because it was like glazed on the inside and then a huge concrete berm on the outside. So it was really challenging, but I was hoping to kind of put everything that I'd learned together in the first two races into the third one. It just didn't quite happen like that.
I don't know if I came in the corner too fast or I didn't have enough talent or some kind of combination of both. As soon as I felt it come up a little bit, I should have just pinned it and just missed my line, but it's really competitive and I just wanted to do well, man. I wanted to have one race where we did well, and unfortunately was able to do a perfect backflip, followed up by a donut wheelie pirouette and exit stage left. So other than the great footage, I think I just bought a Pro 4 truck, but I unfortunately don't know that it's going to be usable ever again. So yeah, the day could have gone better.
The truck just kept going downhill for us, and we made the decision to pull it off and not wreck it. We didn't want to lose a motor or something stupid. So
I don't know. I think I finished 7th still, and they said that look, if you just stay on the track to the checkered flag, then you're gonna do okay because everybody kind of crashes themselves out, and they were right. But the Pro 4s came through like a freight train, and I'm glad to see that a Pro 2 still won it. Kincaid, congratulations. But Travis's crash, unbelievable. I mean, super power move for him to turn the master switch off when the throttle was stuck. Bummed that Andrew also didn't make it. So I had to, hold up the team on my shoulders for this one. No, but it was super fun. So thank you, Yokohama. Thank you, Andrew. Awesome time. Hopefully come back next year.
We're getting closer to that win, and ultimately to being the top guy is the goal. So, there's some things we got to work on, some things we have to get dialed out, and we know the direction we need to go. And you know, in the Pro 4, there's a lot of competition that's really fast, and that's the thing. Everyone else is bringing new trucks, better trucks, you know, improved trucks next year, and they're working on their driving skills. There's a lot of these guys that are newer, and there's a lot of these guys that have been doing this for a long time. So we're somewhere in the middle, and you know, I think there's also a lot to be learned about how fast we really are by these other guys, and I'm excited to surprise some people next year with you know, a lot of speed and show them what we're truly capable of.